Kelly with Good to the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And today I'm going to talk about Meek Mill and just kind of catch us up. Meek Mill's got a lot going on with him these past, for a while now, right? I'm a Meek fan, first and foremost. Let's get that out the way. And I know maybe some of y'all are trying to cancel him, which I don't agree with. I don't think Meek Mill should be canceled. So let's go ahead and start with the first portion of it that I want to talk about, and that's Meek Mill and Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? So Meek Mill and Tekashi 6ix9ine, they have some beef recently of Tekashi kind of running up on Meek Mill at a club. But before we even get to that, people may not know that there's been a little bit of beef between these two guys, so to speak, or at least back and forth. Maybe not even officially beef, but we'll call it back and forth. There's been some back and forth with Meek Mill and Tekashi 6ix9ine for actually a couple years, right? So where did it all start? So it originally started November 28, 2018. Meek Mill, he speaks on 6ix9ine's pending case. And he wasn't really at that point, he wasn't invested in calling him a rat and doing all of that. He actually gave Tekashi a little bit of advice, one could say, right? Because he tells Tekashi basically, watch who you're around, right? Watch the company you keep, watch the crowd, that kind of thing, which everybody's parents even tell them that, you know what I mean? He's kind of telling them just, watch who you're around. Then in June of 2019, Meek Mill calls out 69. Meek Mill calls out Tekashi for basically cooperating with authorities, right? Basically, now this is where it becomes the whole you're a rat situation, okay? But in the beginning, he was just watch who you're around, whatever. And if a lot of y'all remember on the Breakfast Club and other platforms that Tekashi did interviews on or whatever, everybody was telling this kid, don't be so reckless, right? And he was just, whatever, being super gangster. So he does this thing. Now it's coming out, goes to court, blah, blah, everybody knows that. And so then in September 17 of 2019, Meek Mill now uses Tekashi, kind of openly tells everybody, look, Tekashi is teaches everyone a lesson on a number of factors, I think. There's articles on this and everything is, basically Meek was one, don't present yourself to be something that you're not. If you're trying to tell everybody that you're this gangster and you're this, that, and the other, and then you're not, then it's gonna backfire on you. And then the other piece was, not only that, is just be careful of the people that you keep around you, because obviously they're going to use you, or they could extort you, or they could blackmail you, or whatever, which ended up kind of being some of the situation. And I went a little bit more into detail. I actually have a video about Tekashi 6ix9ine on the whole snitching thing and when he went live and whatever. I'll put a link for that if you want to, kind of see that, see my 2 cents on that. And I think I actually replayed the IG live. But anyway, so that was that. So then in January, it's crazy because there's a picture of Tekashi in jail or a witness protection program type of thing or something. In January 21 of 2020, right, Meek Mill compliments 6ix9ine for his prison fashion sense, right, in the Shade Room, did a whole big thing on that. It was crazy. But he tweeted that, right? He was the witness protection drip, right? And so he's not bad, right? So a little sarcasm, but Meek kind of just whatever kind of did that to Tekashi. So then now we're getting a little bit closer into more recent time. May 8th, 2020, Meek and Tekashi finally start really having a back and forth. This is where Twitter really starts going at it. And this is a whole different, this is common for the newer generation. I'm a little bit older, and beef was not orchestrated like that because obviously there was no Twitter. Everything was more low key, right? But anyway, June 5th, Tekashi calls Meek Mill out for releasing a protest song, but not actually protesting. And actually that protest song, I actually vibe with it. I forget the name of it right offhand, but it is on my phone. And I'll put that up there. But hey, it was a good song. And look, and that's kind of a Tekashi doing that was kind of corny to me, right? Okay, so now Meek's a celebrity, busy schedule. he got a lot going on. He's doing this thing with Jay-Z and the prison reform, and getting his life back on track, doing his music thing and all that. And then 6ix9ine's like, oh, okay, so you put a protest song out, but you weren't actually protesting. All right, whatever. But he put out something that he supports the cause, whatever. Like, everybody can't be like some of the other artists. Like Nick Cannon's one that comes to mind. Nick Cannon was very involved in a lot of the police brutality protests. Like, Nick was seen everywhere, especially like when the George Floyd thing popped off. Like, Nick was like incognito everywhere. You would just see Nick Cannon pop up. But anyway, whatever. That was kind of like, okay, so you could tell Tekashi doing what he do, just kind of stirring up trouble just for the sake of stirring it up, right? So then June 11, Tekashi also calls out a whole list of rappers, and the first ones that he starts with is Meek Mill, and the Rock Nation team, and just starts rattling off a whole bunch of people. And we know that Tekashi is super troll. Everybody already knows that. Like, it's funny because he always accuses people of clout chasing, but he is the epitome of clout chasing. But the kid knows how to use it to his advantage, and people fall for it. So he's doing that, and he's calling him out for that. Then, now in more recent, now we're brought up to right now, okay? So February 13, day before Valentine's Day, 2021, which is just like a couple days ago, right? A few days ago. Meek Mill and 6ix9ine, they face off in this parking garage in Atlanta. And people are all saying that whatever, I'm seeing on Instagram and everywhere that people are actually dissing Meek because I guess he didn't throw hands and didn't run up on Tekashi. And he confronted basically Tekashi's bodyguards saying, you guys are protecting this rat, why are you guys doing that, whatever, basically. To them guys, it's just a job. It's like, whatever. I think one of the guys had a little bit of a exchange with Meek, but it was nothing aggressive, nothing crazy. Just like, look, man, just, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And people wanted Meek to put hands on Tekashi, which I feel like he would have been warranted, right? Somebody runs up on you, outside of the club in Atlanta, like, whatever. I think Tekashi spit on him or something, so that's obviously, now we're at a whole nother level of disrespect. But look, these aren't regular people. This ain't just regular guys coming out the club where that can pop off and nothing come from it. Meek, I think he's still on paper. I think he's still on probation, parole, or whatever. You know what I mean? And, there's cameras around. Tekashi, of course, has his camera because the first thing Tekashi wants is to get swung on, of course, because now there's going to be lawsuits. It's going to be a lot of free advertisement. It's going to be all just this whole big deal, right? Which is really all Tekashi's after. People accuse Meek Mill of doing clout chasing on this. I don't think so. Not really. Like, Meek is already respected in the game for the most part. I know some people got some stuff to say about him. But Meek's already respected in the game. Like, he's already making moves, right? Double MG. He's doing things with Jay-Z. He's doing things with his album. He's respected in Philly. Like, it's not really an issue. So that just is what it is with that. But Meek probably shouldn't have even engaged with dude, but he did. And so this is where we're at. We'll see what comes of it. And then Meek retaliated with a diss track on Tekashi, like, pretty much immediately. And everybody's like, why are you even, you know what I mean? So he fell for the bait. Tekashi throws out the bait. Meek falls for it, right? Meek doesn't have the greatest, Meek doesn't have the greatest record, I will say, when it comes to beefs anyway. Like, Meek should just avoid the beefs altogether. Like, everybody knows when he had the beef with Drake. And, the diss track, Pest Control, something like that. Or was that with Game? I'm not sure. But the biggest thing out of that is, when he had the beef for sure with Drake was just coming out with all kinds of music, right? And it was just, like, Meek just did not fare well in that whole ordeal. But of course they made amends, and now they made a record. I don't see Meek and Tekashi making a record, although this is hip hop. Who knows? Anything could happen. All right, so that's part one of Meek. Like, what are you doing, right? Part two, the very most recent, is Meek Mill is getting a lot of backlash for some lyrics that he said that referenced Kobe Bryant. Okay. And yes, it is too soon. I mean, I even did a video on the anniversary of Kobe's passing. Um, and so a lot of people saying it's too soon. They said he had spoken ill of Kobe. I don't agree that he was spoken ill of him, but he had referenced him in this lyric. And I just don't feel like, I feel, if anything, the biggest thing was it's just too soon, bro. Like, people are still hurt by it. People are still deeply impacted by it. But the lyric that he said, okay, the lyric that Meek Mill said is, this bee that I'm effing always tell me that she loved me, but she ain't ever showed me. Yeah, and if I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper. It be another Kobe. Okay, that was the lyric that Meek had said, right? Those of you that like hip hop and can understand I'm not going to dissect that lyric. You get what he was saying, right? And the metaphor that he was trying to use and whatever. It's just too soon, right? But I don't think that he was constantly trying to disrespect Kobe. He just wasn't thinking, right? Because look, Meek was one of the biggest advocates of changing the NBA logo to Kobe, right? To the Kobe NBA logo, which I'm a fan of that too. I mean, I think it's a doper and cooler logo anyway, and it's more, it's more relevant and modern to the time, right? So Meek was a big advocate of that. At the Super Bowl, Meek and Jay-Z and other people there were wearing Kobe jerseys. Meek has reached out to the family when Kobe had first passed and gave his condolences. And that, so Meek respects and likes Kobe Bryant, right? Everybody knows that Meek is a big basketball fan. In fact, Kenny Smith, who's a sports commentator, those of you that follow basketball, Kenny Smith is not just a sports commentator, right? He's a former NBA player himself. He played for like the Sacramento Kings, played for Houston, Atlanta Hawks, the Pistons, Denver Nuggets, Orlando Magic. Like Kenny's played. Like he's played. Now he's a sports commentator, and he himself had an interview with TMZ and says he gives Meek Mill a pass because he knows Meek didn't mean it disrespectfully, right? Now the track, from what I understand, it was a leaked track, right? It wasn't so. It was a song. It wasn't like it was a brand new song. It was a song from a little while ago, and it was leaked. Now I don't know how this music always gets leaked. Like you always hear about music getting leaked. I don't even know how that. Okay, but whatever, right? Especially like now at this stage of the game, like if you know that's a possibility, like tighten up your security, tighten up your circle in the studio, like. You know what I mean? Encrypted files, whatever. But nonetheless, supposedly this track got leaked. It was unreleased. And then this is how this came out. Now there's a whole lot of backlash. People are calling for people are calling for Meek Mill to be canceled over the Kobe lyric. And canceled over, I guess, now they're throwing in the Tekashi stuff and they're throwing in just a whole bunch of whatever. My whole, like, cancel him over that? Like, I don't agree with that. I don't think. Now, as an individual, sure. I mean, this is cancel culture. This is the era of that. I mean, I've done a video on that, of course. And I mean, if you want to cancel him, you don't want to play any more of Meek's music. I mean, that's obviously absolutely your prerogative. But I just feel like this particular issue, it's not cancel worthy. I'll say, right. I will say it was insensitive, and he probably shouldn't have. Like again, it was leaked. He probably shouldn't have had. He probably should have just done better with it, and not even, you know what I mean? Because on that same track, I believe, I think Lil Baby has a verse on there as well, and he references Kobe also, but it's not in the same manner. It's more like, basically want to have a son or a child and name him Kobe or name him Gigi or something to that effect or whatever. But I could absolutely see how fans of Kobe would feel disrespected by it. I see it, and I can see how even the family members that were also the other 7 individuals that had passed in that could feel some type of way too, kind of indirectly, right? But the long and short of it is, like, Meek, what are you doing, bro? Like, just kind of like somebody in his camp has got to should run things. Maybe there is somebody in his camp that's telling, hey. Meek, like, don't do that, and then Meek might be, like, what do you know, right? So that's possible. But either way, like, I'm a fan of Meek Mill. And I do feel that it was unintentional, but nonetheless, it was still hurtful. But the whole thing with Tekashi, like Meek, don't fall for the okie doke, don't fall for the bait. And then when you're putting out these lyrics and this other music, man, just be a little bit more sensitive. But look, that's just my 2 cents on the whole situation. Apologies if that was drug out a little bit. Did a lot of history on the whole deal, but I just wanted to bring you up to speed on the whole situation, kind of present some facts in a little bit greater detail on both those topics. But anyway, this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood, and until next time, peace.